What's going on today, everybody? This is Requiem. Um, there's been a lot of people asking online about how to play certain factions, um, what's going on with PvP, things of that nature. And I'm I like to think of myself as halfway decent at Tau. Uh, I play Tau Protector Fleet. I've learned a lot from Chinte. He's really good. You should check out his stream if you ever have a chance. And I'm climbing up the ranks. I'm working on it. So I just wanted to do like basically a simple, the basics of how to Tau type deal. And I, of course, played Tau Protector Fleet. I'm not that experienced with Tau Merchant Fleet, as you can see. Level like 2. Haven't really tried it out. These do not mean anything other than color schemes. Farsight Enclave is really cool. You get nice red skins to your ships. And the first thing you want to do is build a fleet. Now, there are a few different types of build. Delete this one. You don't want this one. These are basically two of the same, just with different cruiser variants. This is the standard cruiser spam. I believe that one of the strongest Tau builds is the air fleet build, basically. And this is the basic form of it. And that's, you put out the protectors. And I like the Tolkus because of the double barrel heavy railgun artillery. Can't speak. A lot of people go for this one too. In fact, I've slowly started to move towards the Viorlas. I may be mispronouncing these names. And the reason why is higher crit chance per hit. So that's really the only difference between the two. Now, with these two Air Force builds, they're basically the same. It's spam out protectors and then Castellians to escort. And the reason why is due to the fact that they have launch bays and missiles. The Castellians even have missiles. So you're looking at 5 missiles each, so that's 25, plus 10 more is 35. And with this build, you're going for 10 fleets. This is a pretty standard build. It's an area denial build, where you are basically trying to control territory, herd the enemy, and then just pound at a range distance. The more standard build, and this is the one that I honestly would recommend people just getting into Tau. This is my build right here. This is the more standard build used by the current #1 in the game for Tau currently. And that's the Custodian with a few line ships and then some escorts. Now, the Custodian brings Gravitic Hook Wardens. Gravitic Hook Warden brings additional Warden escort ships. Now, the Wardens are very simple. Defense turrets 3, a couple of small guns, nothing that special. This has a pretty solid chunk of health, and it makes your flagship really tanky. The biggest benefit that it has towards the other build is it has more carriers. So, as long as you know how to use your Air Force properly, you can actually have more relevance later game than just basic DPS. Now, the basic strategy for Tau consists of one of 2 different stances, and I'll show you those in a little bit. Basically, one of them will give you better accuracy, and one of them will give you more crit rate. Oh, so yes, it's Custodian, flanked by a couple of protectors, and then I do a couple of Castellian builds. You can go different types of escorts. I've seen some people go the Nikasar Dao, and the reason why is because it's Starborn, so you get to use your scanner skill more often. That's an option. I like the Castellians for my escort ships just because they have those missiles, and it allows them to punch higher than their weight for at least 3 salvos. Honestly, that's what I use them for, is they scan, and then they punch higher than their weight and add a little bit of oomph to my first salvos. So that's why I prefer Castellians. Wardens come with the gravitic hooks, and some people use these because you can scan more often, so they're basically doing their job more. Alright, so Custodian of the Greater Good. And next you want to select your Admiral specs. Now, each of these has their uses. Everything in this is situationally good. So, if you prefer something, you can use it. It's not that hard. The only thing I would say is a must would be the multi-spectrum probe, because the Tau Protector fleet relies so heavily on vision. You must be able to see your enemy to effectively counter them. So I would, first things first, always multi-spectrum probe. If you want a little bit of extra DPS, this is good. This can give you that little window of tank that can really stop, like if the enemy is going for this build that has high burst DPS, like suddenly Nova Cannons, okay, bam, pop this, you can disperse a bunch of DPS. This can be very good for if you're going a stealth fleet build with your Tau. I'm not going over that today. I believe that this is the more standard, and I honestly believe this is the better Tau build. The stealth fleet build, they're just not fast enough to keep up with it. Stasis bombs are good, especially for the Eldar races. Stasis bombs are amazing. Make them sit somewhere while you just pound the crap out of them. Low health means that you'll be able to delete them very effectively. Disruption bomb. This is my personal bread and butter. This is what I will take. And what it does is it disperses shields, hollow fields, stops Necron regrowth effects, stealth fields gone for the Drukhari. This is bread and butter right here from me. It allows me to get my crits onto something when basically I'm going to hurt that thing right there. This is very good for... I honestly think that this is slightly better for the Tau Merchant Fleet for the mining laser build. You get in there, you use the mining laser, then you push them away. So that I think is effectively more useful there. And the hull repair skill, Tau become Necrons. I mean, hey. Next comes the upgrades. This is for the Kroot War Sphere build. This is very useful. I'm testing this out. It has some utility to me. I like it. This is very interesting, and I'm thinking about ways to use it. But with the current boarding meta, Tau are very weak, so it's not always the best to rely on boarding. I like this one. Emissions Dissipator. The ship can use maneuvers while running silent stance without being revealed. What that means is that your escorts can pop a scan without being revealed. And when your escorts can pop a scan without being revealed, that means that you can get vision without being punished. I've seen people not take this. I've seen people do... Where is it? The attuned lens coating instead, and they are both very viable because the extra range for your flagship, especially if you're taking the Custodian as your flagship, is very useful. I believe that this is actually more for the Tau Protector, for the Tau Merchant Fleet. It can be very much useful in that case. Tau escort ships have better accuracy. Like I said, this is very good. This would be good for anti-charge builds, just because the more you sit near me, the more damage you take. It's not a lot of damage, but it definitely adds up. I also take the multi-spectrum probe just to increase my escort's range And you'll see why later. When I start going into the way I set up my fleet, you'll see why I want my escort ships to be able to see farther. And then this is good for the Tau Merchant mining laser build. Okay, so I'm going to go into a skirmish. I'm not going to play PvP because I'm going to be pausing a lot, explaining what's going on. I want to just take you step by step through this beginner's guide to the Air Force builds of the Tau. I can go a lot of different things, but I think that the best way to show you what's going on will be facing the orcs. They have heavy hitting. They will kind of charge at me. It'll be the easiest way to show you what you're supposed to do while also having a significant threat against me. So, sit here, orcs. Every race has its own strategy, to be honest. Facing against the Tau, you want to be able to hit them harder than they hit you. Facing against the Tyranids, you don't really want them to get that close to you. And if they are going for... Basically, there's a couple of strategies for everything. If your opponent is going for a carrier build, then you need to out-be a carrier to them. If the person is going for reach out and touch you build, lasers, ramming, boarding, things of that nature, you need to kill them before they succeed in doing whatever it is they're trying to do. Orcs tend to be very good with the boarding torpedoes and that type of thing, and I'm just going to show you against this. It'll give me time to explain things and to set up properly and show you what the basic strategy is for Tau and how to use them effectively. By the way, they are updating this is coming out on the 31st of January, and they have announced today that they are updating the boarding situation. Currently, boarding in this game is a little weird. They're working on fixing it, and I'm hoping that a few changes will happen. I'm kind of hoping that they remove escorts in Space Marines having boarding at all. That would be great. I think that would be a positive net influence. Okay, so this is actually a very good map for what I'm going to do. This is something a lot like what you would want. So in this case, I'm going to look at the map, and I'm going to see, okay, here's this. So what I want to do is I want to control this area right here with these 3 points. I want to deny them this zone. So basically, I want to control from here to here. This is what I want. They can have this. I'll go take it later. This is your fleet. These 3 right here are all my wardens. They came because this has the gravitic hook. These are my 2 Castellians, and they have the missiles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up on 1, this up on 2, these 2 up on 4, these 2 up on 5, that one up on 5, and this up on 3. There's no reason that I put this on 3, then otherwise that's just what I'm used to. Remember to always set your control groups. Control groups are very important for I'm going to fly around the map and get what I want without having to click anywhere. Now, when you're deploying as Tau, you have one of 2 options. You can either do Warfare Kauyan or Warfare Mantka. Ooh, the killing blow brings the enemy's end. Okay, so the 2 different things are Mantka. When the ship is firing at a marked ship, its critical chances multiplied by 1.5. Kauyan, the accuracy of ships is raised to exceptional as long as it's stealthed. Both have viable builds. We are going for a Mantka build. Alright, so now deployment phase. I am going to give me my flankers. And then my fleet. But my fleet is going to be changed a little bit. If you select a group of ships and then spread them out, your flagship will always be on the far left. Now, I know this is a small meta thing, but what I like to do is take this ship, move it over here, take this ship, move it right here, or move it right there. You know, put it in the middle somewhere. Now, the thing is, if you select them again and do this, it's going to put it right back to the way it was. So, you want to put it where you want it, and then there you go. And as you see, I'm having my line ships escorted by my 2 Castilian frigates. And the reason why is because my frigates are going to push forward, and these are just going to slowly push, and this is going to be my line of battle. Now, these guys, 4 is going to go right here, and you're going to move forward up to there. And this one will go right here. Actually, I can switch these. And the reason why I'm going to switch these is because they will be my flankers. So, this one will go up to here. And these 2 will be my flankers for pushing forward. So when I've used my escort vessels right here, marks, these 2 will be the next ones. And so I'll be able to rotate my marking to keep my crit chances up. Because as you see, when the ship is firing a marked ship, the critical chance is multiplied by 1.5. Now, the 1.5 does not seem like a lot, except for the fact that it stacks with the lock-on stance. So this ship has 4%, 1%, 1%. Alright. So very low crit rates, but that's because for every 4 damage, you get 1% crit. And Tau doesn't deal a lot of damage per hit. In fact, I think this has all 1%, 1%, 1%, 1%, yes. So when stacked with lock-on stance, these 1% go to 2%, and then it gets an extra 50%, so it goes up to 3%. So it's basically 3 times as much, in essence. And critting does damage to the enemy systems. So when you're firing at something, you can either target their engines, their deck, their generators, or their weapons. And each of them does a different thing. With orcs, I'm going to be firing against their decks. And there's different things that you need to do with every single race. With the Eldar, you fire at their engines. No, their generators. With its Dark Eldar engines, Eldar generators. And the reason why is because with the Dark Eldar, they go into stealth. You can stop stealth with your scanning, no worries. Then you just hit them and destroy them. With the Eldar, they have the hollow fields, and the hollow fields give them a dodge chance. It's a very high dodge chance, too. So what you want to do is you want to destroy their generators so that they no longer can dodge, and then you just abuse the fact that they have really low HP. Orcs, Necrons, Tyranids, you all want to go for the decks. And the reason why is because you want to do that morale damage as quickly as possible. Okay, so now that I've had everything set up the way I want to, and I know the area in which I want to control, the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to set my stances. So, starting here, I'm going to go running silent, because your escorts you don't want engaged. Also, so that when I tell it to attack something, it doesn't move any more than necessary, I'm going to do engagement angle to the front. This is engagement angle to the side, and this is engagement angle to the front. And as you can see, it can hit basically anywhere, unless it's right behind it. A lot of Tau ships do exactly that. They will hit all around. So to get a little bit of a better view, you can see the weapon systems glowing green. It actually looks really cool. Okay, so you've got that, and then with these guys, I'm going to start in lock-on stance. Later, when the orcs get closer, I will go into either reload stance or brace for impact, depending on if they're going to try to ram me or they're going to try to duel me. If they duel me, I go to reload stance. If they try to ram me, I go for brace for impact. And the reason why I go for brace for impact, if they try to ram me, is to reduce the morale loss. Tau are very weak to morale loss. Let's see. I didn't set this ship to running silent or that, and neither did I set it for those two. Alright, next. I go for ready. Immediately pause. Look at the map. The first thing you get to see some enemy ships. That is perfect. This is what you are actually looking for as soon as you spawn. You are hoping to see something of the enemy. You have more information than you need right here. So you can select each of these. If you notice, you have this little cool bar in the bottom. And what that bar says is what you can focus. I was telling you about the focus fire earlier. With the orcs, you want to focus the decks. And looking at this comp, I would say that this is the flagship, so you want to set it to 1 priority. Those might be planes, small escort ships. We'll see. Alright, so, looking at the map, you've got all this. First thing you want to do, I'm going to move this forward. Move that forward. Move these to a battle line. Move these to there. And then move that one forward. So what you're doing is you're kind of making a U shape with your fleet. And this U shape is going to be your vision. You're going to send these in a little deeper and off to the side, while these stay far behind and try to deal damage. Alright, back to normal speed. Looks like that is actual planes, which is interesting. So I'm facing an orc carrier build. Let's get a little bit more vision here so that I can see what's going on. Pop it right here so that the engagement zone will be where I can see them. But that also means that this is probably not a good idea to do that. So I'm actually going to send it over here and burst it. The reason why is because it's not going to be able to contest a whole fleet. Alright, so now you got planes coming in. Planes are dangerous. So the first thing you're going to want to do is set up some defenses. Now, a lot of people make the very first mistake of, the planes are coming, so I'm going to put my planes between them and it's going to fight them. That's not how you do it. What you want to do is you actually want to use your planes as defense against them by putting them onto a ship. And when you put them onto a ship, they will sit there, and you'll see in a couple of seconds where these planes will then go and attack the oncoming enemy force. Do not be afraid to adjust your vision. Do not be afraid to adjust your vision. You see how they've moved forward to attack them? It's perfect. It's exactly what you want. Yep, and then your drone identified. Alright, so you now have vision of the enemy. Unfortunately, you have that right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to be moving this right here. I don't want to fire missiles through here because your missiles can get screwed up. But what I do want to do is push forward so that I can get better view on what's going on. And as soon as my Barracuda fighter squadrons show up, I am going to put some hate onto that. Orcs do not have very good AA. I may actually lose this, and that's fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to strip some of their aircraft turrets. Now that they're in there, I'm going to move this forward and get some vision. This lock-on stance with the increased range is allowing me to get some poke. And because I have my invisible ships while marking, I can mark and then get away. I want to be able to hit them without issue. Alright, so this is perfect. First things first, let's delete a ship. I am sending my Barracudas to deny torps. As soon as that's taken. Oh, look. See, it's getting to the point where I want torpedoes. Torpedoes are ungodly effective, but you only have 3 charges. So you want to pick and choose your targets. This was the closest, and I'm going to be doing a ton of damage to it. At some point, I'm going to be targeting this ship right here. This ship is their big beastie. If I can destroy this ship pretty soon... see, this is actually a perfect time for me to have blocked this. If I can target this ship, I can cause morale damage. If you notice, my fleet has been attacking this, and this is the exact same ship as this. Well, not the exact same, but it's close enough for you to understand. And I have been damaging the turrets because I sent my fleet against it. This is a very useful thing. Next, you're going to see me send out some bomber squadrons. Now, this has been captured, so I'm going to be moving this forward so that I can get some more marking done. These are also going to be moved forward for marking. This has been seen, so you want to move it away. Also, let's just kill that one. In 30 seconds, I'm going to be able to just... There we go. No. If you notice, look, that crit chance increase destroyed the deck. Huge morale drop. Just ungodly morale drop. And this will be able to mark it again. Just all the crits. I've destroyed 3 of its 4 subsystems. Now I'm going to do the Manta Cruiser Squadron. The Barracuda. Manta Missile Destroyer Squadron. I'm still working on the names. Watch what happens with this. Mark for extra crit chance. Which, by the way, lasts for 30 seconds. And all the damage, including destroyed deck. And these are just picking away at this one. It mutinies. There's no need to kill that while there's something threatening in the area. This has a fire on it you want to repair. My lack of micro has killed the fleet I had over there. Which is fine. It happens. I am currently picking apart their fleet. Let's send some low-key missile. Like I said, there are some things that straight up just change the way things work. And these missiles allow it to punch way outside of their weight. Get a crit chance on them. And send some bombs in. The awesome thing about bombs is that if they're not destroyed, what happens is they come right back and you can use them again later. So I have no worries about sending this in after them and just destroying that. He has actually scuttled this ship. What's scuttling... Well, not scuttled. He has cleared out all the crew from the ship. He did it via removing my troops from it. Luckily, he did not get my Castellian. And now that I have controlled this area, I have effectively area denied this, and due to the fact that I have gotten points, he has done this. Now your human enemy will not split up like these guys did, but you're basically doing the same thing. So next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to move my people forward. It's not worth it to try to save that. Alright, moving it forward, and that's all the current ships I own. We're going to go at double time for right now. But also what we're going to be doing is we have vision here. I'm going to make sure you can't hide in the cloud, and then what I'm going to do is start sending my bombers after them. I'm going to reach out and touch somebody. Once again, I've already completely stripped this. I've taken out 1/3 of their defensive turrets. So this will strip them of a lot of their defensive turrets and allow my planes to come back to me alive, and that's important. Now I'm moving through the asteroid field. It's going to do some damage, but not enough for me to really worry about it at this point. Stop here, get a little bit of deep vision control, and capture this point. He's still in running silent stance. I still got all these in lock-on stance just to get those yummy, yummy, juicy crits. I'm actually going to send this one a little deeper, and the reason why I want to send it just a little bit deeper is in case I need to crit them earlier. So I've seized this point, so I'm going to move, and I'm going to deny a little bit more area. I'm going to box them in to here. They're over here just running around. Now, it looks like they sent out their planes and destroyed that cruiser. Yeah, that's exactly what they did. They sent out their planes and destroyed my bomber squadrons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the exact same thing to them, and I'm going to remove some more of their defensive turrets. Then, after about 6 to 8 seconds, I'm going to send in a whole wave of missiles. So they're going to be defending against these, and then I'm going to just send in ungodly amounts of missiles. And I've currently denied them from being able to do anything here. So, look, they've sent out their planes. And let's go back down to real time so you can watch these yummy, yummy missiles come in. Deck damaged. Fireboard. More coming in. It's still stripping turrets. 1 turret lost. 1 turret lost. 1 turret lost. Decks destroyed. Completely gone. This is the essence of playing Tau. This is what you want to do. You want to deny area, get vision, and then delete ships from a range. This should be the bane of every enemy's existence right here. Mark for that higher crit chance. And say goodbye to another orc cruiser. I may have overkilled that one just a little bit. Insipa. And I still have some missiles for them. There you go. Deck's destroyed. Switch to engine so you can't press the big red button. And I'm just going to sit here and just fire. Just, yeah, he's mutinied. Forfeit. There you go. It's the same thing every game. I mean, there's slight differences depending on who you're facing. There are some situations where I mean, what was it? Sun Tzu said, your battle plan doesn't work after the first arrow is fired, or something like that. So that's the strategy in which you're trying to do. You're trying to reach out and touch people before they get to you and do so much damage that when they engage, your ships with slightly less hit points but high crit rate are going to be able to take apart even the tankiest ships like orcs. I have literally spent, like, where orcs, I've poorly mismanaged my escorts, and the orcs destroyed all my escorts. And it took me, like, 10 minutes to destroy one of the biggest orc ships. Which one is it? The Big Rock or something like that. It took me like 10 minutes of just sitting there and attacking to get rid of their Mega Rocks. Like that, seriously. Just sat there and just 4 damage, 4 damage, 4 damage, 4 damage. Like, it took forever. So you want that crit chance. You want the chance at fires. You want to destroy the systems. Otherwise, you're going to have a long game. Your escorts are super effective. They are your bread and butter with the Montcalm stance. Otherwise, your DPS just isn't going to be able to chew through that. It's different when you're facing the Drukhari or the Asuryani because of the fact that they have much lower hit points. So what you want to do is you want to once again use your escorts, but you want to use them to be able to reach out and touch them. With the Drukhari, they're stealth, so you want to use your escorts to give you vision. With this, you want to use the Disruption Bomb to temporarily remove their buffs, basically, until you can crit the systems that cause the buffs. A lot of factions, I will start off aiming for the deck. Tyranids, deck. Tau, deck. Necrons, deck. Orcs, deck. Drukhari is the it's the engines. Eshirani and Corsair are both going to be generators. Chaos, deck. Adeptus Mechanicus, deck. Adeptus Astartes. Space Marines. They're freaking Space Marines. There's an issue with Space Marines right now, and it's the fact that if you want to build a Cancer build, this is the only one that I just don't know how to stop it. It's a light cruiser spam with a bunch of escorts, and then they just board you indefinitely with their another chapter. I will still target the deck with these, but I have a very difficult time facing that one build. Imperial Navy, I will target the deck. So as you see, most of the time it's the deck unless there's a specific reason otherwise, and that's because morale damage is very effective in this game. As the Tau Protector fleet, I do enjoy playing them. I play them all the time, and so far it's literally, if you notice, it's like I have one or two in some factions where I've just tried them out, and then I've done nothing but play Tau Protector. I absolutely love the Tau Protector fleet. They are awesome. And there you go. So, once again, this is Requiem. I hope I've answered some of your questions. Check me out at my stream on Twitch, which will be down below in the video description. I will be more than happy to answer any questions, give you current up-to-date tactics, things of that nature. I hope to see you there. Please leave a like, maybe give me a subscribe to get more good stuff about this. If you want to hear more, I will be more than happy to try to help anybody out who can. Once again, I don't claim to be the best, but I do claim to have enough knowledge to give you guys the basics for and describe what I'm doing and why I do it. And I hope you guys learned something, and if you have anything to add, leave it down in the comments. So once again, this is Requiem. I hope you guys have a great day, good weekend, and good luck out there in the battlefields.